Something occurred at Silverstone that should draw the focus of every team on the grid. The Mercedes team introduced their completely new W17, placed both of their drivers in the car, and then succeeded in completing nearly the maximum permitted distance on their very first day of running. This is not standard procedure, this is a declaration. The first driver to try the new car was George Russell, who was then followed by his teammate. As a pair, they completed 67 laps of the Silverstone International Circuit, amounting to just under 200 kilometers. To provide perspective, that figure represents the absolute ceiling of what teams are allowed to cover during a promotional filming day. The majority of teams do not even try to reach that number on their initial outing with entirely new cars. The difference when compared to other teams is pronounced. The Audi team managed approximately 50 kilometers during their own initial run. The Racing Bulls outfit adopted an extremely careful method, finishing only 15 kilometers during a demonstration event before coming back for more running the following day. The Cadillac team also did not use their full allocation. Mercedes arrived and instantly operated at the limit. A question must be posed. For 2 straight seasons, Mercedes has observed their customer team, McLaren, defeat them using the same engine. That is a humiliating situation for a factory operation. Does the W17 alter that narrative, or is McLaren poised to extend that streak to 3 consecutive years? Andrew Shovlin, the individual responsible for trackside engineering at Mercedes, characterized the day as sensible. That selection of word is noteworthy. It was not described as spectacular or revolutionary, merely sensible. He clarified that the priority was ensuring all components operated safely and reliably. Successfully completing the full distance with both drivers sampling the car was, according to him, proof of the hard work from every person at their factories in Brackley and Brixworth. The surrounding circumstances are important here. For many months, rumors have persisted that Mercedes' preparation for the new set of technical rules has been progressing unusually smoothly. Then emerged the controversy regarding compression ratios. Competing manufacturers raised objections that Mercedes had discovered an ingenious interpretation of the regulations that might provide a substantial power benefit. Some projections indicate the gain could be valued at several tenths of a second per lap from the power unit alone. The FIA organized a meeting with all engine suppliers merely hours before the W17 first drove on the track. No immediate modifications to the rules were declared. The governing body signaled that conversations about the methodology for measuring compression ratios would persist. Mercedes, seemingly undisturbed, simply continued with their schedule. The Alpine team offered a useful point of comparison. The French squad, now utilizing Mercedes power units for the first time in their history, conducted their own shakedown at Silverstone the day prior. They completed around 140 kilometers before failing light and changing weather conditions compelled them to halt. It was a respectable attempt, but clearly less than what the works team accomplished 24 hours later. Examining footage from both vehicles shows clear variations in how they have integrated the power unit. Mercedes, with years of development time and total authority over the project, has created a package that appears more polished than what their new customer could achieve at this preliminary phase. That disparity is expected to decrease over time, but currently, it is apparent. The W17 creates a strong visual impact. The paint scheme shifts from a silver shade to black in a pattern reminiscent of stripes, with accents of a green color flowing along the car's bodywork. Beyond its appearance, the car signifies a radical change in the construction philosophy of Formula One machines. Active aerodynamic systems adjust the wings throughout each lap. Power is divided approximately equally between the electric motors and the internal combustion engine. The use of sustainable fuels is now compulsory. George Russell begins the season in the role of team leader. The British competitor has been part of the Mercedes organization since 2022 and at last has the chance to lead a championship challenge without a record-breaking world champion in the other cockpit. His agreement lasts for only a single year, generating immediate pressure to produce strong performances. His teammate starts his second season after assuming the seat left vacant by Lewis Hamilton. The young driver demonstrated potential during his first year, but also committed mistakes characteristic of a racer learning at the pinnacle of the sport. New regulations provide everyone with a clean slate, and the driver will aim to take full advantage. The testing process continues with a private session in Barcelona where teams are permitted to run for 3 days within a 5-day window. 2 further tests in Bahrain follow during February, both accessible to media members and fans. The FIA has allocated additional testing time this year, considering the scale of the regulatory overhaul. Mercedes approaches this period as the predicted frontrunner according to bookmakers. This is a notable reversal from their difficulties throughout the previous ground effect era. From 2022 through 2025, the team that overpowered the prior regulatory cycle could not establish a stable competitive footing. The W17 symbolizes their chance to regain past success. 4 teams will compete with Mercedes engines this season. The factory squad, McLaren, Williams, and Alpine. If the conjecture regarding a power unit advantage turns out to be correct, all 4 will gain, but the works team should possess a superior understanding of how to harness the ultimate performance better than any customer. The compression ratio issue continues to develop. Mercedes is said to have engineered their engine so that internal parts expand when heated, effectively raising the compression ratio beyond what measurements taken at rest would show. Rival teams assert this confers an inequitable benefit. The FIA has not prohibited the method, and Mercedes states they were open about their intentions from the start. The Red Bull team has created their own power unit via their collaboration with Ford, concluding a long period of supply from Honda. Accounts indicate they have tried to implement a concept similar to the Mercedes approach, though potentially with less effectiveness. Their junior team's very careful shakedown might reflect the immature state of that new engine program. Silverstone was the obvious location for this first run. The Mercedes chassis facility in Brackley and their engine headquarters in Brixworth are both situated within a short distance of the circuit. The team knows this track thoroughly from countless filming days and testing sessions over the years. Supporters who have anticipated a return to form from Mercedes for a long time finally have a concrete reason for optimism. The shakedown demonstrated that the car operates, the engine runs, both drivers feel comfortable, and the systems perform as designed. These are fundamental elements, but executing the fundamentals correctly on the very first day is significant when every aspect of the machinery is novel. The true performance level remains a mystery. Testing will offer hints, but teams routinely conceal their genuine pace until competitive racing starts. The definitive answers will arrive only when the starting lights extinguish. For the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne, Mercedes has commenced their campaign precisely as they would have planned. Maximum effort, maximum mileage, minimum fuss. The W17 is a reality, and it functions. Now the more difficult phase commences. The dynamic with their customer teams introduces an additional layer of interest for the coming season. McLaren demonstrated that possessing a Mercedes power unit does not guarantee victory for Mercedes itself. The team from Woking developed their car more effectively than the factory operation and secured the Constructors' Championship. The Williams team displayed moments of real competitiveness. The Alpine team hopes their change from Renault power will reveal performance they have lacked. The Ferrari team has reportedly contemplated protesting the compression ratio interpretation once the season is underway. The Italian manufacturer is convinced Mercedes has secured an unjust advantage through a creative application of the regulations. The W17 is their response. Reliable mileage and seamless operation are the foundations upon which championship challenges are constructed. Converting that solid base into race-winning speed is the upcoming task. The countdown to Melbourne continues. Mercedes has executed their initial moves. The path toward reclamation has started.